Dan's here, Mina's here. We got a lot to get to, you guys. Let's kick it off with New York, okay? Where John Harbaugh was introduced today as the new Giants head coach. He spoke about his vision for the team, what he hopes to bring to the Big Apple, and how he plans to lead the Giants moving forward. Take a listen.
We begin a new chapter in New York. Our focus is simple. It starts with building a team that is physical and tough, that's capable of overwhelming their opponent from beginning to end, and especially at the end, that understands how to finish, that is smart and disciplined, that plays the game the way it should be played, and that everybody watching it, including those playing it, will be proud of. I'm excited about Jaxson Dart, and it starts with the quarterback for sure. I mean, the quarterback has got to, you build your team around your quarterback. I mean, you build your team around your players and what they do well. And I like the way he plays. I mean, I like his talent, skill set, all the things he's accomplished. But more than that, I like who he is and what he's about. And to me, he's about football. I mean, this young guy loves football. He wants to talk football all the time. And, and that's kind of what I like doing too. So I think we're going to have a lot of great conversations. And I can't wait to get started with him.
I love that. Puts a smile on my face. John Harbaugh, the fourth former Super Bowl winning coach over the last 25 seasons to take over a team coming off a season of 4 or fewer wins. It happened last year when the Raiders hired Pete Carroll. It was one and done after going 3-14, though. Doug Peterson took the Jaguars to the playoffs in his first season in the prior instance. Mina, the big question for him in this organization, though, is who comes in as OC. He's talking about his relationship with Jaxson Dart, but how important is that hire going to be for Dart's development when it comes to his future?
Obviously, this is a huge hire, a huge decision for John Harbaugh, especially given where Jaxson Dart is in that development. Year 2 is so important for these young quarterbacks. When I first heard Todd Monken being thrown around as a possible offensive coordinator, and I know he's done some head coach interviews, I absolutely loved that idea. I think Monken did a fantastic job in Baltimore, not only, of course, dealing with another mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson and designing the run game to highlight those skills, and the run game should and will be the focus in New York. But also, I think, Monken showed a lot of creativity, called a very modern offense, an offense that constantly iterated, was very different from what he did early in his career. I loved how he used motion in the run game in particular, some very creative and interesting personnel, obviously, in Baltimore. So I would really like that hire if New York did it. I do think, and I know, Dan, we've talked about this, Dart is very mobile. His mobility is different from Lamar's. Oh, yeah. They're going to have to call a different sort of QB run game, and also an emphasis has to be on getting Dart to protect himself because he's not Lamar Jackson in the open field. But on the whole, I would love that idea, and I hope it happens if I'm a Giants fan. Yeah, obviously the hire of coordinator is going to be a big deal, and then I think that's kind of the next step for this organization and/or football team is some of the question marks. One, with your own roster, are you going to re-sign your right tackle, Illuminor? And there was some pretty good play out of him this year. And then second, who's going to be the pass catcher opposite Malik Neighbors? I'm not sitting here telling everybody it has to be this unbelievable wide receiver, but it's got to be a pass catcher, whether it's a tight end as well. Theo Johnson did some good things. Yeah. I think that the interior of their offensive line has to develop and grow and have some added pieces. So, and then add to the secondary from a full team perspective. And so I'm one of those people that I think when you bring up in a coach like this that understands how to win and really how not to give away games, you can get pretty competitive pretty quickly. I don't think that this is put them as the number 1 seed in the playoffs next year. But I do think if they figure out some of the pieces on their offensive line and get a competent wide receiver or really an upper echelon wide receiver opposite Malik, I think this is a team that can contend for the playoffs. It'll also help to get Cam Scadaboo back, which he's in line to potentially be back by training camp, should be huge for that offense. Glad you're with us on NFL Live. Back to one of our top stories today in New York, where the Giants introduced their new head coach, John Harbaugh, addressing the media for the first time since being hired last week. Our Giants reporter Jordan Raanan was in the room today. Jordan, what stood out to you from Harbaugh's introductory press conference?
Yeah, thanks, Laura. Look, I've been to a lot of these over the past decade or so. I mean, there's been Ben McAdoo, Pat Shurmur, Joe Judge, Brian Daboll. Probably too many that for the Giants to actually like. But this was a little different, bigger in size and anticipation, probably because of the background, the resume that a man like and a coach like John Harbaugh has at this point. There was even a tent back here that was filled. It's right here to my left right now. That was, filled with food and drinks for family, sponsors, people in the organization. Everybody from the organization was pretty much out here. There was more than like 200 seats for everyone. So a big show. And even when I was speaking to John Harbaugh, he even mentioned that to me. This was something he's never seen before. And trust me, I was actually at his introductory press conference in Baltimore. This, in scale of size, was significantly bigger. And when I talked to John Harbaugh one-on-one, I asked him, what was this about this job that proved that this was the place for him?
The biggest thing was my dad liked the team, and we talked about that in the press conference. He liked what he saw on tape, so that made me feel good because, I was like, well, I think my dad sees what I see. These guys have a chance to be good. That was important. And then also the family, the organization, the people here. That's number one critical factor.
How much of that was Jaxson Dart? Like, what did you see because you obviously watched tape of him, you did your personal evaluation. What did you see and what did you like?
Well, the quarterback's the biggest piece. I mean, everybody talks about you got to have a quarterback. So the Giants have a quarterback, So that makes you, that kind of opens the door. I think that's what gets started. Then when you meet Jaxson, you get to know him. You start talking football with him, see how passionate he is about it. That kind of seals the deal.
Yeah, the quarterback's the biggest piece. That was quite revealing there from John Harbaugh. And I spoke to someone who's close to Jaxson Dart, and what they told me was when John Harbaugh came in for his interview, he sat down and talked one-on-one with Jaxson Dart for close to 2 hours, and both parties left extremely impressed with each other, and that played a significant role in getting to this point. Now, this is John Harbaugh's second act, right? His mentor, Andy Reid, has had quite a successful second act in Kansas City. John Harbaugh actually said he'd sign right now for the same second act that Andy Reid has, which, by the way, includes 3 Super Bowl wins. And Andy Reid's advice to him was very simple. 4 words: change can be good.
I like that. Great advice. Also, Jordan, I hope they let you get some snacks out of that snack tent. If they didn't, we need to work on that.
I don't think I need them, Laura. I think we're good here.
Oh my goodness. Appreciate you. Great stuff. Let's read and react to some more coaching news across the league. A lot to get to. Let's start in Atlanta, where the Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski as their new head coach. Stefanski was fired by Cleveland after coaching the Browns for 6 seasons. So, Mina, does Stefanski make sense for Atlanta?
Yeah, I really like this hire. I think back to what Stefanski did with Nick Chubb 2022, really before then as well, in that, outside zone, under center run scheme in Cleveland. And I think about how good Bijan Robinson would be in the same offense. And people listening to that might say, why would you base your offense around a running back? Well, he's their best player. And it's the offense that's also very favorable to quarterbacks as well. So I think it's a great fit. I think he's proven to be a good leader, and I'd be excited if I'm a Falcons fan.
Yeah, one of the best players in the league, right? To Detroit, where the Lions finalizing a deal to hire former Cardinals offensive coordinator Drew Petzing as their new OC. Petzing would be replacing John Morton, who was let go after just 1 season in the role. And this might explain why. In 2024, under Ben Johnson, the Lions called runs on offense at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. They also had the 4th best third down conversion percentage in the league. But last year, under OC John Morton, they regressed, dropping to 14th in calling designed run plays and 20th in third down percentage. Next season, Drew Petzing will be the team's OC after spending the last 3 seasons as Cardinals OC. Dan, you like that fit for the Lions?
For the run, for the marrying, and for the sequencing of play calling, I do. I think Petzing's really good in his run game stuff. I think the way he uses his tight ends is very good. The play action pass stuff, I really like. That's going to be the foundation of this offense. Do I think that they need to have someone in the building that really advances the drop back pass game and the pass game concepts? I do, because I don't think that's a strength of his, or certainly wasn't in Arizona. So there's a lot that I think marries up well with who Dan Campbell wants to be, and really who the talent or the players that they have strength-wise are in Detroit, yes. But I do think you want somebody that can get creative in your pass game concepts in the building, because that's not something that shined in Arizona.
It's going to be interesting, too, because remember, Dan Campbell, of course, took over play calling from the previous OC, John Morton, in Week 10 last season. He's always been really involved in the offense, but what's Campbell's role with Petzing and then maybe whoever they bring in to help with the pass game?